The Wager Talk You Pick special is live, giving you the option to pick the league of your choice and get 30 days of picks for only $99. 30 days of the NFL for $99, done. Just want NBA and NHL for the next month? You can do that for only $99 each. That's right, $99 gets you every release from the league of your choice from your favorite handicapper, including 5% best bets for 30 days. No coupon code is required, and 30-day sports passes will go back to regular price Sunday at midnight. So lock in as many sports and handicappers for only $99 before time runs out.
Welcome into the NFL Opening Line Report each and every Monday right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. I am Drew Martin, joined by Teddy Covers. We're going right down the line in rotation order and telling you where these lines are moving. He is the reason for this show. Teddy Covers on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. Teddy, happy Monday morning to you. Welcome into the show, buddy.
Well, let me start with this, man. It takes two to tango. I appreciate you saying I'm the reason for the show, but if I did this show by myself, A, it would be boring, more boring than it already is. And B, you bring something every week, Drew. So while my commentary is a big piece of the equation, your commentary is a big piece of the equation as well. So I appreciate that. I'm off another crappy weekend in the NFL. It has not been a good run for me here in November in the NFL, unfortunately. That being said, we're still at 56% over the last 6+ years in NFL betting action. So I'm not panicking about it. Nonetheless, I'm kind of pissed off on a Monday morning, Drew. I feel like for the amount of work I put in and for the amount of knowledge I have on these teams, I've underachieved this season. So we'll see the beauty of the NFL and beauty of it. Here we are mid-November, right? Season's almost over. Hell no, it isn't. We still have half an NFL season to go. So I'm confident that the early November struggles are not going to be the defining moment of my season. There's some good games this week.
There absolutely is. This is a good week for the NFL. There's some compelling matchups. And hey, Teddy, a pissed off Teddy is a good Teddy. I think a pissed off Teddy brings some winners. So, guys, let's get after it. We actually quick hit the Monday nighter at the top. Of course, we are recording 10 a.m. Pacific time on Mondays. LA Rams, San Francisco 49ers. Teddy, we got -3 in the hook. That's the Rams pretty much across the board right now. We got 50.5 being the total. Key AFC or NFC West battle. Anything quickly off the top on the Monday nighter?
I mean, this is a clear sharp score divide game. The pros are taking the 49ers plus the points. The Joes are laying with LA. I don't see this line moving off of 3.5. But again, it could happen at an individual book. Market-wise, that's not going to happen. We're going to see 3.5. But there may, at the books that caters to Joes, I wouldn't be shocked if a 4 popped on this game. And the books that cater to pros, I wouldn't be shocked if a 3 popped on this game. So for what it's worth, there is a legit dichotomy tonight between, there's a sharp score divide on this ball game. And the square side is the road favorite side. For what it's worth, total-wise, we're not seeing a whole lot right now. 50, 51. It's bounced between the two all week. It's sitting there right now. I'm not seeing any indications that this total is going to move between now and kickoff either.
Okay, let's start NFL Opening Line Report Thursday night style here, guys. We get the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. Kind of an interesting handicap, Teddy. We get the Patriots -6 short week on the road in the ATL, 47 being the total. What are we liking here as the Pats head to Midtown Atlanta?
So every Monday morning when we get on the show, I'm like, I knew there was something I forgot to do last night. Let's send over the openers for today. So, I mean, the numbers you're going to see flashing on the screen, those are in many ways look-ahead lines. Just so you know, look-ahead line last week on this one was New England -4 and 46. I give you the look-ahead lines. These are bettable lines from the Westgate Superbook for last week's game. So we get an idea of how much this week's results affected the point spreads and the parity numbers for these two teams. So, again, New England 4 and 46 was the look-ahead. My powering number is Patriots -5, and I'm high on New England. I've been talking up the Pats for the better part of the last month. Unfortunately, I haven't made money with them like I should. But, in terms of disparate results, Atlanta's coming off as bad a game as they can play. 11 first downs, 1 for 11 on third down. They lost the game by 40. They were never in the game. It was a big problem. No-show. And it's really the first no-show of the year that they played under Arthur Smith. They had the opener against Philly wasn't good. But yesterday was the first real no-show from Atlanta. Teams tend to bounce back with a first-year head coach off a no-show game. Whereas the Patriots, the Patriots aren't going to play any better than they played yesterday. 4 straight wins, 4 straight covers. Mac Jones, that's how you want to play the game of football. When we click on all cylinders, we can be pretty good. Browns head coach Stephen Stefanski talking about how good they were. Their offense played really well. We could not get them off the field on third down. But here's a little bit of a red flag quote for New England. Because I've been doing this a long time. I don't remember a lot of quotes like this from Bill Belichick, especially when he's got to go on the road on a short week the next week. Quote, that was really a great day here for us today on so many different levels. Belichick doesn't say that. Belichick says, yeah, it was a win. We're looking forward to next week. We got to work hard, correct the mistakes. Belichick does not say that was a great day for us on so many different levels. So short week for New England. And again, in terms of value from a power rating perspective, this was -4 as a look ahead. Pats off a huge win, Falcons off a huge loss. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some wise guy money for Atlanta. And you already know the Joes will be on New England for this one.
Sure. And Teddy, I've asked you before, if this was a Sunday game, would the line be any different? Would this be -6.5, -7 for the Pats because it's a short week? Maybe it's shaded a little lower.
It might be a little bit higher. It wouldn't be significant. 6. Okay. Maybe it'd be 6.5.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be. We're not talking about a significant difference if the game was played on Sunday.
All right, heading to the Sunday card here, guys. 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. The Detroit Lions, Cleveland Browns kicking us off here. Top of the card, 4-5-1, 4-5-2. We'll work our way down the Sunday card in rotation order. We got -9 in the hook at one shop. Actually, 2 shops out there at the Wager Talk odds screen, Teddy. -10 at all the others. That's the Cleveland Browns as the home favorite. 44.5 being the total. Detroit Lions off of the tie. Could they ride this momentum here into Cleveland, Teddy?
And I'm fascinated. I want to get Ralph's report on what teams do off ties. They happen so rarely. There's not a whole lot of systems for post-tie games. Look ahead line here, Cleveland -10, 46.5. My powering number has the Browns -12. It's not like I'm raising the Lions off of what happened yesterday. I got Cleveland -12. That may be high, depending on if Baker Mayfield, what his health is, because the quotes from Mayfield aren't real good. The market's open 9.5, 10 last night. We're seeing mostly 10s today. There are a couple of 9.5s out there. All that said, I wouldn't rush to go bet the 9.5 because if Mayfield is banged up or Mayfield doesn't suit up this week, it's going to be an issue. And the quotes from Mayfield are not good. Gotta find a way to get as healthy as possible. Pretty beat up right now. It was an awkward hit and landing, so we'll see day by day. That's not a positive quote. And then Keenum came in and got sacked on back-to-back plays. Cluster injuries in the secondary. Troy Hill got wheeled off on a stretcher. A.J. Green sustained a concussion yesterday. And, of course, the Cleveland team, Stefanski, quote, they outplayed us, outcoached us. And then Myles Garrett comes on afterwards and says, we didn't make any adjustments defensively. Cleveland's got a lot of characters and a lot of egos in that locker room, and they're capable of beating anyone. The Browns are capable of winning a Super Bowl if they're healthy. They have that level of upside. But they're certainly going through some midseason growing pains. Of course, this might be the right opponent to face right now. We've seen Cleveland destroy teams like Detroit. And the Lions, again, yesterday, they finished with 2.7 yards per pass attempt. Let me say that. They finished the game with 2.7 yards per pass attempt. But that was only because Goff was chucking the football around in OT. All right. They were about 1 yard per attempt for most of the game. You don't see a lot of NFL games where the quarterback play and the receiving play was as bad as it was for Detroit yesterday. They're +3 in turnovers. They can't win the game. They ran the football all day. They ran it for 229 yards. That's the 9th time in 51 years that Pittsburgh has allowed more than 200 rushing yards on the ground. And with that type of running game, they couldn't throw the football. This is the most broken passing game in the NFL right now. Goff, our run game was tremendous. It felt purposeful. Felt like we were really on top of what we were doing offensively. It's something we can build on. But Jared Goff right now reminding me of Sam Darnold in terms of, he's Sam Darnold with a NFC championship ring. Goff has lost it. The Lions, who their defense played their guts out yesterday.
Sure.
But off the tie, Cleveland's a lot better than Detroit on both sides of the ball. If the Browns are healthy and come to play, they'll kill this team.
Good stuff, Teddy. Second kick up. We got 453, 454, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific kick. San Francisco 49ers heading on the highway to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Teddy, this is kind of like next level NFL handicap in here. We get the San Francisco team -5 in the hook on the road, 46.5 being the total. I say next level handicapping because one, they're playing in the Monday nighters, so it's kind of dependent on tonight's game. Short week on the road, East Coast, early kick, tough road trip against the Jags, who have covered 3 of 4, won 2 straight cash and tickets here, won one of the games against the Buffalo Bills. How do we go about it this one?
So let me start with this. All right. If you like the Rams tonight, you want to bet the Jaguars right now at +5.5. Right. Because if San Fran gets killed tonight, the market's going to crash on that team.
Right.
All right. It's not like San Fran's a good team as we speak. What's their record? Their 3 wins this year have all come against the absolute bottom feeders. Talking about a 3-win team. The 49ers right now, right? They're not.
Yeah. 3 and 5.
And if they get bombed tonight, it's going to be -3, maybe. I mean, maybe.
Sure.
So if you like the Rams tonight, you make a play on the Jags right now. If you think San Fran's going to hang, this is a San Fran wins the game or hangs tough point spread. This isn't a San Fran's getting smacked around point spread. There is urgency. If you think the Rams are going to smack them, this number is just not going to be there for the 49ers tomorrow morning. Look ahead line, San Fran -5.5, 47. My powering number is only 3 for this game. And I keep raising Jacksonville. The Jags are playing good football. They're competitive football. All right, 2 weeks in a row, we've seen that defense basically control the game. And they were punched in the face by Indy. They had a punt blocked, and they were down 17-0 early. And that was a game, a lot of times the game turns a blowout, and I'll switch to another game. I was fascinated by that one. I wanted to see how Jacksonville would respond, and they responded really well. They responded by the offense didn't work, and the defense took over the game. And then, of course, they rallied back to make it close, and then Trevor Lawrence got strip sacked on the last drive. Quote, "I just have to take care of the ball." That just stings when you end the game that way. I'm disappointed with myself and frustrated, all of which is true. That said, Jacksonville's a better team now than they were a month ago. San Fran, not so much.
Teddy, third game up, Indianapolis Colts, Buffalo Bills. We're seeing 49.5 being the total, and we're seeing -7 pretty much across the board here. That's the Buffalo Bills at home. What are we doing third game up here?
So let's just do it. Let's emergency betting alert it right here. Because if you like Buffalo, you want to get on this now. Yeah, grab the 7, lay the 7 with the Bills because it's not going to come down. It can only go up for Buffalo. Look ahead line here, Bills -7 and 50. My powering numbers at 7.5. The markets, there were 6.5s last night. Those got scooped up in a hurry. The 7s are getting scooped up in a hurry. We're starting to see 7.5s pop. That said, Indy's a team that I was wrong about earlier this year when I'm like the Colts aren't any good. I didn't like anything about Indy, and I know we got into the chat a little bit over on YouTube, and the guys were like, "The Colts are fine. The Colts are fine." I'm like, "No, the Colts are fine, right?" Absolutely, and the offensive line blown open holes. I mean, they didn't play well with the lead. All right, the offense didn't show up after halftime. They had 20 total yards in the first 25 minutes. And Carson Wentz will absolutely make you crazy because every single game he has a couple of throws. You're like, no, but they're back to 500 for the first time all year. That said, the quotes, it's big, especially against a division opponent. Wentz yesterday. We've been climbing out of this hole for a while now. It wasn't our best game, but a win. You worry about, we got to 500. Exhale. From Indy here. And, of course, Frank Reich after the game. What I like was that in the fourth quarter, say what you want. At times it was ugly, but we finished in the fourth quarter. Thought the defense played great the whole game other than the one long run that they got. Now, the Bills, bounce back. The Bills looked every bit the Super Bowl contender yesterday, bouncing back off a poor showing. 9.1 yards per play, 6 touchdowns and 7 red zone tries. Josh Allen after the game talking about how they kept on hearing how they were overrated and they were pretenders, and his quote, "That's one thing we're not going to do. Ride the roller coaster of we're the worst team to ever play, and now we're the best team to ever play. We're going to stay consistent and steady." Cornerback Levi Wallace, having that bad taste in our mouth from last week, not performing to our standard, to kind of put a little bit more urgency in our preparation. That's something to be aware of. And then he said, "I think that was our main focus, trying to make the other team one-dimensional, make them throw the ball, which creates turnover." All 5 Bills players in the secondary created a turnover. I don't know that that's going to happen as much against Indy, but you can certainly count on Carson Wentz making a mistake or two. That being said, Colts A game can hang with Buffalo. Plus 7.5 for Indy would intrigue me should we get there on Sunday. And I think, like I said, there's an emergency betting alert. If you like Buffalo, lay the 7 now. There's a decent chance we get the 7.5 in this one. The Bills' season-long stats continue to be extremely impressive.
First emergency betting alert in the books. Buffalo Bills -7. We might have one more, guys. Stay tuned for that. Next game up, we get the Miami Dolphins heading on the road here up north to New York to face the Jets. AFC East rivals here, both towards the bottom of the division standings. Yet, sports bettors, we don't care. -3 here. Dolphins on the road. 45 being the total, Teddy. What are we liking? Dolphins versus the Jets Sunday.
The look-ahead line, Miami -2.5, 45.5. My parity number only has the Dolphins -1 in this ballgame. It's not like I have a big buy sign on Miami, even off the back-to-back wins. And we got to start with the Jets' defense. I just talked about how they allowed 9.1 yards per play and 6 red zone touchdowns in 7 tries. Over the last 4 games, the Jets defense now allowed 175 points, 54 to New England, 31 to Cincinnati, 45 to Indy, and then again yesterday. And the quotes, this is not a defense with no talent. This is not a defense with no coaching. This is a defense that is completely underachieving in every way they possibly can. Hey, we had Rex Ryan ripping Robert Saleh yesterday, and of course, Rex Ryan, if you look at why the Jets have been bad for the last 15 years, you can certainly point a finger at that guy. That said, look at the quotes from the Jets. Every man should be embarrassed, Sheldon Rankins. Every man should be angry. He was confident. He said, Sunday's a rock bottom moment. It can only go up from here. We played overall about as bad as we could possibly play at times. C.J. Mosley, an interesting quote. This is a character building moment. We're going to really see what our foundation is like. And is it going to crack or not? Salah talking about, our system prides itself on being able to get better as the year goes on. Clearly, it's not happening. Not that last week wasn't a circle the wagons game for the Jets, but of course, Mike White came in and threw 4 picks, and did not do his best Tom Brady impression in that contest. Don't know who's going to be QBing for the Jets this week. And I'll be interested to see how the market reacts, whether it's Wilson or Smith.
Mike White
or
Smith. One. Okay.
Yeah, because we certainly saw support for the backup quarterback White, I should say, not Smith.
Yeah.
We certainly saw backup market support for Mike White at QB. I don't know. Normally, the starting quarterback comes back, and you get market support for that team. We'll see if that happens with Zach Wilson and the Jets. I don't know he's going to be back this week. Neither do the markets right now. Certainly the early money towards Miami in this one. Of course, it is a Dolphins team. Tua after the game. Any win is good. No rumors, no external factors of noise that had anything to do with what we did tonight. Tua, of course, coming off the bench and playing well against Baltimore. And the Dolphins defense, which is underachieved this year in many ways, they're healthier now, and they won the game against the Ravens, and they certainly match up fairly well in theory against the New York Football Jets. But from a point spread bargain standpoint, again, it's up to 3 just about everywhere right now. Had we done this show last night, the Dolphins would have been emergency betting alert, but Sunday night, I can't do this show Sunday nights, dude. I'm not ready. So it is what it is.
Does take some preparation here, guys. We got 459, 460 next game up. This is a good one, Teddy. Washington football team bounce back fashion here. So are the Carolina Panthers. So we're getting the Washington football team off the win in DC, heading on the road. 43 being the total. Lights, cam, action. Carolina Panthers -3 at home, Teddy. What are we thinking here?
So a look ahead line here, Carolina 2, total of 43. My powering number is 4 on the game. And the markets, we can emergency betting alert this one if we wanted to. There's threes with juice now there. I'm not seeing the 3.5 starting to pop, which is why I didn't put it on the emergency betting alert. But if you like Carolina, I had them circled as a possibility for an emergency betting alert today. If you like Carolina, bet them now. Don't wait. You're not going to get a better number. If you like the Washington side, you may see 3.5s for this ballgame. So I guess there is some urgency, even though we didn't make it official emergency betting alert. And look, we talked about Carolina coming to the season and Matt Rule as a defensive-minded head coach, and that defense was dominant, dominant yesterday. And with McCaffrey back in the lineup, and all of a sudden Cam Newton giving them like a second option around the goal line, the offense worked yesterday, which it hasn't worked. P.J. Walker, 22 of 29 for 167. Again, P.J. Walker is a limited NFL QB. And Newton didn't do a whole lot, but he came in and had an impact. And, of course, but if you're betting on Carolina, you're betting on this defense. It is a defense that's capable. Now, Heineke had some nice throws early. And certainly Washington coming off a huge win over Tampa Bay, now going on the road, and they're not the greatest team. And, oh, by the way, they lost the reigning defensive rookie of the year, Chase Young, who may have torn his ACL. We'll find out later today. I'll give the Washington football team credit because Tampa came out flat as a pancake yesterday, and Washington punched. And then Tampa punched back. And with the game on the line, fourth quarter, Washington put together a big boy drive. They converted a ton of third downs yesterday, and Heineke made some really good throws, as good as I've seen him play. They had the ball like nearly 10 minutes and marched it down the field and into the end zone ball game. And that was a big boy drive, and we haven't seen a whole lot of those from Washington this season. Of course, I've seen a whole lot of wins from Washington this season. Carolina doesn't have much of a home field edge. They played some ugly home games this year. That said, if you like the Panthers, I bet them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we are seeing -3s. There are some 3.5s starting to pop up. So to Teddy's point, like in the Panthers, 3s are still available. We got Baltimore and Chicago next game up, Teddy. Seeing -6.5, -6, depending where we're shopping. That's the Ravens is the road favorite. 45.5 being the total. Of course, with the Ravens, off of that poor performance Thursday night in South Florida, they do have extra time to prepare. What are we thinking in Soldier Field, Teddy?
Yeah, there's a couple of good teams this week that you read their quotes and they are pissed off. Baltimore is not a team I'm standing in front of this week, okay? Period. Look ahead line here, Ravens 6 and 45. My powering number, Ravens 6. In the markets today, Ravens 6. There's a couple of 6.5s out there. The Bears coming off that competitive loss to the Steelers in the bye week. So they too, they have the most extra time to prepare. But again, the more time you get to spend with Nagy, does that make them a better team? Not necessarily. Whereas the Ravens are coming off a game where they gained 4.3 yards per play and were -2 in turnover. Calais Campbell, we just didn't play a good football game. John Harbaugh, we got to get to work. We got to be a lot better. We played poorly, and it's because of our coaching. It starts with me. I didn't do a good job getting these ready. They had scored 14 or more in 51 consecutive regular season games. Didn't get to that against Miami. It is a motivated Baltimore team. And Chicago certainly, again, when you're giving up 29 to the Steelers, that's a concern because you're supposed to be the defensive football team. I don't know. There's not a whole lot I like about the Bears in this matchup. I would expect to see Baltimore bring their A game.
Teddy, moving down the list here, 463, 464, still 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific kicks. New Orleans Saints at the Philadelphia Eagles. We saw this, open pick. Now we're seeing -1 or -1 in the hook. That's the Eagles at home, 43.5 or 44 being the total here, Teddy.
Yeah, look ahead line was Pick'em 43.5. My powering numbers, Eagles -2. The markets opened 1.5 last night, and we're seeing pretty much it's hanging there today so far. Philly's a team that's getting better every week. Although when we look at the Eagles, four wins on the road so far this season. Ofer at home. So, and they won yesterday in a way just like they won at Carolina. By the way, they win at. I have all three teams in my season wins. All right, I have 6 bets. I have the Panthers over, I have the Broncos over, and I have the Eagles under. And Philly went on the road and stole one from Carolina on a blocked punt. And yesterday, in a game where, again, Denver was not the right side in that game, but it's a 7-point game. The Broncos are marching down the field into the end zone, and Melvin Gordon gets tackled and lands on somebody instead of on the ground, and the ball gets ripped loose, and Darius Slay picks it up, and boom, next thing you know, he juggles it 15 times, and Teddy Bridgewater doesn't have a good look for himself on the return, and that was ball game right there and then. But the point is, Philly's making those plays right now, and they spent the first part of the season really trying to throw the football, and that hasn't been their MO the last 3 weeks. 236 yards rushing against the Lions, 176 against the Chargers, and 214 yesterday. So they're running the football really well right now. Is that going to work against New Orleans? I'm not convinced that it will. Saints' strength is that run defense. We saw it again yesterday. And again, Trevor Siemian got off to another slow start and kind of got going in the second half. We'll have to see if Alvin Kamara plays here. We don't overreact to running back injuries. Kamara is a guy who clearly they missed him, with that run pass threat. And Sean Payton, another guy who's pissed off after the game. Disappointing loss. I thought we came in with a good plan. We fought hard. That's what makes it difficult. Just in the end, too many little things. So let's check that Saints injury report. They played without Terran Armstrong, the left tackle, in the loss yesterday as well. And that's certainly an impact guy for New Orleans. If he's in and Kamara's in. Philly's had struggled to put together back-to-back good games. But yesterday, the Eagles were playing at a different speed than Denver. And it showed. Philly's got playmakers all over the field. And like Jacksonville, their team is getting better as the season is progressing.
Absolutely, Teddy. He's Teddy Covers. I am Drew Martin. This is the NFL Opening Line Report each and every Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Thanks for joining us, guys. For all those joining us live, please smash the like button. Shout out to Joe. We got Rara, Gerald, Justine, Paul coming in from Essex, England. Wherever you're watching from, let us know in the chat box. And any questions, feel free to throw them out here. We'll hit them at the end quickly. Guys, moving down the list here. We got next game up, Houston at Tennessee, Texans at the Titans. We're seeing double-digit favorite here, Teddy. That is the Tennessee Titans, -10. There are some -10.5s out there. 44.5 being the total in Nashville.
Yeah, look ahead line here was 10 and 46.5. My power number is 13 on Tennessee against Houston, but that doesn't factor in the spot perhaps as much as it should be. Tennessee 7-0 now against playoff teams from last year, straight up, including 5 in a row. Only the 2003 Philadelphia Eagles have ever done that in the history of the NFL before, win 5 games in a row against playoff teams from last year. That's what the Titans have just done. Mike Vrabel after the game, they do know how to win, and I'm thankful for that. And, of course, it was the lowest scoring win that they've had this year, which says the defense is stepping up. Obviously got to clean some stuff up, but I'll never apologize for the win. Ryan Tannehill, who has been brilliant for the Titans, as underrated as any quarterback in the NFL so far this season. But at the same time, Julio Jones goes on IR. A.J. Brown held to just 1 catch yesterday without his counterpart on the other side. They got every break. Tannehill fumbles a snap. It gets recovered by A.J. Brown, and he runs for a 6-yard gain and a first down. Tannehill throws a pick in the end zone. Oh, it was. If you ever seen a roughing the passer penalty, you're like, are you kidding me? This was one of those. Tannehill throws a pick. Oh, really? That's the roughing the passer penalty you're going to call on linebacker Caden Ellis, and next thing you know, it ends up getting wiping off the INT in the end zone. So Tennessee's catching more than their fair share of breaks. They're a little bit banged up, and they will be facing a Texans team I mean, they've had 4 road games and 4 no-shows for Tennessee's. They forced 5 turnovers against Miami last time out. David Culley, usually when you get 5 turnovers from your defense, you expect to win. But now when you have 4 from your offense, our job on offense is to protect the football. Our job from our quarterback is to protect the football, and we didn't do that. When you do that, you get these results. Our entire football team deserved better. Tyrod Taylor, when his first start back, it's uncharacteristic of me, but it happened today. Now Taylor's got extra time to prepare. They're a bad team, but it's certainly a Houston spot, even against a divisional foe. I would not be surprised if we see at least some sharp money coming for the Texans.
Moving down the list for the last 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific kick here, the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings NFC North battle here between the 2 top teams in the standings. Teddy, we get -2 in the hook. That's Green Bay -2.5 point road favorites, 49 being the total in Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers making some headlines for on the field and off the field now, Teddy, but having to go on the road here. What do we like in Green Bay, Minnesota?
Yeah, look headline, Packers -2 and 50.5. My power numbers, Green Bay -3, and the market's pretty well set at 2.5 and 49 this morning. I did not emergency betting alert this because we haven't seen the 3 start to pop. That said, if you like Green Bay, I would bet them sooner rather than later. Because let's not forget, I mean, I know the Packers were, it was a 3-0 game. After they had, 23 snaps inside the Seattle 35. The execution wasn't there. But remember, Aaron Rodgers didn't practice all week. He didn't get cleared to play until Saturday. Coach LaFleur, I wouldn't say it was tough to game plan, but you're always wondering how it's going to look on game day when you haven't had any reps with him. We've got so much confidence in the ability to go out there and execute. I thought there were a lot of plays for whatever reason that didn't quite work out. It's only the second time he won a game without throwing a touchdown pass. And thrown at least 1 interception. He'd been 1-5 in his career in those type of games. That being said, Minnesota, impressive win against the Chargers. When you think about what they had last week, 5 players going on the COVID list, including multiple starters. They were missing 4 other defensive starters due to injuries. You had the Dalvin Cook off-field distractions, and they got off to a really slow start in that game. We're the better team thereafter. So, Minnesota, in theory, playing for their season as home dogs against Green Bay. If it gets to 3, and again, we're seeing 2.5s out there. I thought about emergency betting alerted, but if it gets to 3, I do think we'll see wise guy support for Minnesota. That's probably not why it hasn't gotten to 3 at most books just yet.
Next game up, we got 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific kicks now. Cincinnati at Las Vegas, 49 being the total. We're seeing pick'ems. We're seeing -1 right now. That's the Bengals as the road favorite. Depending which sports book you're shopping at, guys, those are the lines out there. We get 2 5-4 teams going at it. Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. What are we thinking here, Teddy?
Look ahead line was Pick'em 48.5. My powering number is Pick'em, so I'm certainly not far off from the market. The Raiders, the last 2, the Raiders had shown signs in the last 2 weeks they've been awful. Non-competitive in defeat yesterday against Kansas City. Defense got picked apart in that game. All of a sudden, the Chiefs' offense that hadn't worked in 6 weeks looks like the juggernaut that they've been. So we're seeing that inconsistency from the Raiders right now, which is certainly concerning off back-to-back losses. They're certainly not a team that has good vibes at this stage of the campaign. And that was a bad loss last night for Vegas. I'm not convinced they're going to bounce back strong. As for Cincy, coming off the bad Cleveland game, off the bad Jets game, off the bye week, Burrow after that game, I didn't play very well. If I play better, we have a chance to win. I didn't play well, and that's all there is to it. So certainly spot-wise for Cincinnati, I think there'll be a fair bit of market support for the Bengals, and I would not be shocked to see the markets crash on the Raiders this week. So Cincy -1 now, it could go higher. And the Bengals, if you want that side, again, not going to hurt you to lock in at the current number because this is a one-way line. If we're going to see it move, it's going to go towards Cincinnati.
And Teddy, when we saw Gruden be fired, be shown the door, they kind of played well right after. Is this in your thinking, kind of the Raiders taking a step back now with maybe the coaching vacancy, or do you think it's just kind of a one game kind of maybe hiccup?
No, now it's back-to-back games because they had the one good game, and then they played the game against the Giants that they lost, and now they played the game against the Chiefs
You're right.
that they lost.
On the road, right.
And it's not like – yeah. I mean, last night's performance was alarming for the Raiders. That was a big game, and they didn't show up. And they weren't – I understand your defense gets picked apart, which it hasn't done all year. Well, the Raiders' offense is good. And Raiders' offense hasn't been good the last 2 weeks. So if the strength of the team isn't working, that's a problem.
Absolutely. We got next game up, 4-7-1, 4-7-2, Arizona and Seattle. We're seeing the Cardinals. That's the Arizona Cardinals -2 or -2.5, depending where you're shopping right now. 50 being the total. Pacific Northwest, NFC West battle here, Teddy. What are we liking, Cardinals and Seahawks?
Let's doodly-oop this one right away. Emergency betting alert on the Arizona side here. If you like the Cardinals, get them now. Kyler Murray has not officially been upgraded. I would be shocked if Kyler Murray doesn't play this game based on every quote that I've read. And when Kyler Murray gets announced as being in, this line's not going to be 2.5 anymore. And again, look ahead line here. Seattle -1. My powering number with Murray in the game is Arizona 4. So for what it's worth, I mean, the offense was held to 3.2 yards per play yesterday, just a complete no-show. I love Kingsbury going for it. Went for it on 4th and 1 from inside his own 35, down 7-0. And of course, they got stuffed. But we like that. And of course, they were out DeAndre Hopkins. They got only 169 total yards, and Carolina just killed that team yesterday. And Colt McCoy left the game in the third quarter, didn't come back. The third stringer, Chris Streveler, came in and finished. If he plays, my emergency betting alert for -2.5 is going to look really stupid. But I don't think that he's going to play. I would expect to see Kyler Murray this week. As for Seattle, I mean, again, when we're talking about teams that are supposed to be all that, Seattle's a 3-win team right now. Okay. In the week before Thanksgiving. They're not good. They hadn't been shut out since 2011. And admittedly, they had a couple of scoring opportunities, and Wilson threw bad passes in the end zone. But that's what Russell Wilson is doing right now, is throwing bad passes in the red zone because the offense isn't working for Seattle. The receivers aren't getting open. The running game isn't there. The offensive line still hasn't been fixed. 43 dropbacks for Russell Wilson yesterday, 3.1 yards per pass attempt. And I understand the Packers' defense has been better than advertised, but I'll take Arizona's defense over Green Bay's. I expect this line to move to 3. If you like Arizona, bet them sooner rather than later.
Teddy, next game up, Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs. A good one here in Arrowhead, 55.5 being the total. -1.5 or -2 seems to be the prevailing numbers out there. That's Kansas City as the short home favorite. What are we thinking here in Arrowhead?
Is that? Do you have like a teacup? Is that an espresso cup? I saw like a little cup you're sipping over there. I'm drinking my tea every day.
You got my tea.
It's
NFL opening line report tea. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought you were with a little espresso cup. I don't know why. I chose now to comment on that as we're talking about the Cowboys and the Chiefs. Look ahead line, Kansas City -2.5, 52.5. My powering number is pick 'em on this one. Dallas was impressive. Obviously. And the quotes after the game. Remember, Dallas coming off a loss, something to remember for the future. But Dak Prescott last week just wasn't us. Everyone in our locker room knows that. It left a bad taste in our mouth. I think it's a taste we needed, in a sense, to understand how tough this game is. The biggest halftime lead for the Cowboys, they're up 36-3 at the break, since 1971. We're going to see a fat and happy team? I'm not convinced. Kansas City is the interesting piece of the equation because we'll have to see how the markets react to the Chiefs win and cover last night. Is that Kansas City is back? Is that Kansas City found the right opponent at the right time? Good game on Sunday, and perhaps we'll learn a little bit more about these two teams. KC's not getting a 3. Dallas is going to have plenty of betting market support in this one.
Sure. Teddy, I like the comment of remember the Cowboys off of a loss, maybe bounce back mode. We saw that yesterday. Pittsburgh, LA Chargers, Sunday night football here, guys. We are seeing the Chargers -3.5 or -4 point home favorites in Southern California, 47 being the total. Steelers, Chargers, Teddy.
Yeah, look headline here was Chargers 3 and 48.5. My powering number with Rudolph is Chargers 4. With Big Ben, it's Chargers 3. I don't know if there's really any difference between Rudolph and Big Ben. You make an argument that Rudolph was better than Big Ben yesterday, but the one thing that Roethlisberger doesn't do that Rudolph does do, Rudolph makes more mistakes. Rudolph has more, he'll take more shots downfield. The passing game works better with Rudolph in terms of offensive production, but it also means more mistakes. And we saw that certainly in the overtime yesterday. Of course, Pittsburgh coming off that crazy, again, they played 70 minutes of football in that contest. And boy, the injury problems, they were -3 in turnovers and didn't lose the game. 50 pass attempts against the Lions. I don't know why you're not just lining up and running the football against Detroit. And I brought it up earlier, only the 9th time in 51 years that the Steelers have allowed more than 200 on the ground at home. But with the game on the line, fourth quarter and overtime, the Lions offense didn't do anything. Pittsburgh's absolutely dominated in that regard. And the only time the Lions had chances were when the Steelers offense screwed up. Great quote from Cam Hayward after the game. Ties suck. I thought that was beautiful. They do. Joe Schobert after the game, linebacker. A tie in the NFL always feels like a loss when you get to the locker room because you're not anyone to the win column. The half game, it might make a difference in the end. To let it slip away when you're that close definitely hurts. Of course, twice in the overtime session, the Steelers at the edge of field goal range, and twice they turned it over. But injuries galore for Pittsburgh. Multiple injuries on the offensive line. Joe Hayden got hurt yesterday, didn't come back. TJ Watt got hurt, it didn't come back. So those are certainly concerns here. That being said, the Chargers, Herbert was just off yesterday. The LA's now lost 3 of their last 4. I'm not convinced I'm not convinced Chargers are that good. All right. They have issues that recur, and they're on both sides of football. The defense is not a dominant defense, and the offense doesn't have a ton of big play abilities. So those are most assuredly concerns against a good defense like that of the Steelers.
Guys, we got one more game here. It's the Monday Nighter, New York Giants and Tampa Bay Bucs. First, want to give a shout out to the chat box. Johnny Outlaw in the house. We got Mike Vick watching from Pacifica, California. We also got Freddie watching from London, England. Wherever you're watching from, guys, thank you for joining us. Please smash that like button. If you're watching on replay, feel free to comment below. We'll be in the chat box or in the comments answering questions throughout the week. We got the Monday Nighter here. New York Giants, Teddy, Tampa Bay Bucs. We're seeing Tampa -11-point home favorites, 50 being the total. And Raymond James, what are we liking in the Monday Nighter?
Look headline was Tampa 12.5 and 51. My powering number is Tampa 12. The market's down. I'm seeing 11.5s, 11s, and even a 10.5 on the board right now. That has everything to do with Tampa's injury situation. All right, their top 3 cornerbacks are out. Richard Sherman got hurt in warm-ups yesterday. And the defense has now allowed 36 points to Trevor Siemian and 29 to Taylor Heineke the last 2 weeks. They're both losses. Last 2 games, I should say. And yesterday, the defense, a 3rd and long again and again, and conversion and allowed Washington convert on 3rd and long again and again. So those are concerns for Tampa. That said, this is a Super Bowl winning team that is pissed off right now, off back-to-back losses. You read these quotes, that is an angry team. Levante David had an opportunity to get off the field, and we didn't. We talk a lot of stuff, we didn't play like it. That was a moment to put our stamp on the game, and Bruce Arians, very disappointing. It's very alarming to watch the energy at every practice and show up with a lack of execution and energy that it takes to win on Sunday. We've got a lot of soul searching to do. The stupidity has to go away if we're going to go anywhere. We're a very dumb football team, and that's a reflection of the coaches. Brady, not a great day of football for us. We just never really played on our terms. We played from behind the whole game, and they played a really good game. So, second consecutive loss on either side of the bye. Coach is calling them out. Defensive performance was embarrassing. The offense didn't play well. in theory, it's supposed to be a Tampa spot. But here's the problem. Their top 3 cornerbacks are out, all right? When they don't have Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski, guess what? The offense isn't as good. And oh, by the way, last minute of the game, nose tackle, the key to their run defense, Vita Vea, carted off with injury. That is an enormous impact injury for Tampa. Don't know his status yet, but that's a concern here. It's a Bucs spot. We'll see if the Bucs injury report allows it to be a Bucs spot. The Giants, look, Giants are 3-3 since their 0-3 start, and that includes a 3-point loss at KC. They're covering point spreads. The defense last week only allowed 1 touchdown to the Raiders and 6 red zone opportunities. There's things to like about the G-men. All that said, Tampa's A-game is going to crush anybody if they have an A-game to bring.
I like it. Great point on the run stoppage up front being carted off there, Teddy. Guys, shout out to the chat box again. Shane, greetings from Dublin, Ireland. Thanks for joining us. We got Detroit in the house. We got Dallas, Texas in the house. Thanks, guys, wherever you're watching from. Smashing that like button as well. Check out Teddy Covers, wagertalk.com. Guys, 56% since week 1 of 2015. That's 242 and 191 long-term winning percentage, 5% big ticket plays, 15-8, 65% since May. So check them out, wagertalk.com. It's $9 Monday. Teddy, time for one question here. We got a question saying, how much do you factor in ATS record here? This from TD Corral 08 in the chat box. ATS record, Teddy, is that at the forefront of your handicap?
At the forefront, I wouldn't say it's at the forefront necessarily, because again, teams with it's an interesting question, and it's a good question. I don't have a great answer for you. It's a factor. It's not a huge factor. A team that's at the bottom of the point spread standings now, all right, may well be a team that offers value moving forward. A team at the top of the point spread standings now may well be a team that is an overvalued commodity and a team you'd want to bet against down the stretch. So early in the season, I'll pay a ton of attention to point spread records, and the markets have this team right, or don't they? And when they don't have them right, you can bet on or against the same team for multiple weeks until the markets get them right. That's not necessarily the case for November and December. And this time of year, I'm much more interested in point spread runs, short term, than long-term aggregate point spread success. The teams that were point spread juggernauts in September and October have already been priced correctly for November.
I like it. Good analysis there from Teddy Covers. Timing is important in sports betting industry. Timing's important in a lot of things in life, guys. But for Teddy Covers, I am Drew Martin. Hopefully you enjoyed the NFL opening line report. Please smash that like button on your way out. If you're watching on replay, please comment below. Let us know you're watching. For Teddy Covers, I am Drew Martin. Best of luck with your bets. We'll be back next Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Come back and join us.
The Wager Talk You Pick special is live, giving you the option to pick the league of your choice and get 30 days of picks for only $99. 30 days of the NFL for $99, done. Just want NBA and NHL for the next month? You can do that for only $99 each. That's right, $99 gets you every release from the league of your choice from your favorite handicapper, including 5% best bets for 30 days. No coupon code is required, and 30-day sports passes will go back to regular price Sunday at midnight. So lock in as many sports and handicappers for only $99 before time runs out.